Good morning, good afternoon, good midday, wherever it is you happen to be watching. Welcome to the XRP Army News Show. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce Joanie Gulbronson to everyone. I'm excited for a couple of reasons. One, as I've gotten to talk and get to know Joanie a little bit, we're the same age. I like that. And she also is one of the great women in our XRP community. And I think we need to hear from as many of our great ladies as we possibly can. So what I'd like to do now is, Joanie, basically what we do is we just want to hear about who you are and your XRP story, your story of who you are. And I know you're a mom and a grandmom and a wife and a sister and a daughter and a teacher. And so I felt like that there was a place in our space for people to get to know more about the people in our XRP Army, not just our influencers. Not that I don't love them all dearly. Brad Kimes, DAI, Sam I Am, Kevin Cage, Jungle Inc.,
Bearable Bull.
Bearable Bull, with this aggressively average content that I watch every day.
Me too.
And the video was a little bit longer today, but it was really good. But again, I don't want to take any of your thunder. I just wanted to be able to give you the opportunity to let the other people in the XRP Army get to know you a little bit, like I'm beginning to. And I'm sure that they will admire and respect you as much as I'm beginning to. So, Joanie, would you like to introduce yourself and then just tell us your XRP story?
Okay, so I'm Joanie Gulbronson, and we live in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we got into XRP, or Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all of it, about 2017. Actually, we got started off with a scam. And I hate saying out loud what it is, but I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it, USI Tech. So we got in the wrong place there. And then I met somebody from the cryptocurrency world, and he got me into another one called ShareNode, it's a company where they're going to tokenize everything, which, that's the idea of everything. So my husband and I had written a book. It's called Santa Claus, The Warmth of Christmas. It's a children's book. We wrote that book in, I think it was published November, December, right about when we got into cryptocurrencies of 2017. So we wanted to tokenize Santa Claus. So the person actually went to California, went to that Adobe Theater, had my book up on stage, our book up on stage. It was a big thing, everyone's, I don't even want to say the main person's name, but he's a very well-known person. He's been in Forbes, magazines, everything, big financial person. But anyway, he's a part of it. Apparently his partner ran off of the money. Anyway, completely died. So, we've had, we've had two scams. We've lost money in both scams. But boy, I sure believed, my husband wasn't quite on board with me at the beginning. And we started really studying cryptocurrencies and XRP especially. And I can remember studying, being on YouTube, looking up the company. And I mean, just putting so much time into it. And my husband, he said, you're obsessed with this. This is ridiculous. You're obsessed with this. And I'm like, yeah, I think that this XRP is better than Bitcoin. I think it might be better than Ethereum, And at that point, I was diverse in my cryptocurrencies. I had Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Tron, Verge, and what else I have? A few others, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And honestly, I don't think anyone knew at that point, at that time. But XRP really grabbed me. So I had accumulated all this stuff, and I was working with Binance, Binance, the China one. Mm-hmm. And so it was really hard to get XRP. So I had to buy Ethereum on Coinbase, move it over to Binance, then pair it up with XRP, buy all this XRP. And then finally, of course, we had to move everything off Coinbase. What was the reason? Oh, I don't know, the Nano S. So we wanted to put everything back on Coinbase and then the Nano S and get on cold storage. But I can say firsthand that whenever I started moving stuff off of Coinbase, onto my Nano S, when I did my XRP, It was click, then click. It was there. It was on my Nano S. When I did the Ethereum, I kind of got a little bit nervous because it took like, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. I'm not really sure exactly. But when I moved our Bitcoin onto my Nano S, we waited and waited, and we were inside the little closet in a bank, you know, because we keep our Nano S in a safe deposit box. And we're waiting, and I'm like, I said, we can't wait around for this. Let's going home. So I went home. We went for a bike ride. We ate lunch. I played the piano. You know, looked around, waiting, kept checking it. Finally, 6.5 hours later, it got on my Nano S. So I started thinking about it and started reading even more and listening to Kevin Cage, Brad Kimes, DAI, Bearable Bull, of course. And of course, the Money Channel and Moon Lambo and all that stuff. And started really listening. And then, of course, looking up like the documents and stuff. And the bottom line is the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it took 3 seconds to move more XRP than I ever had Ethereum or Bitcoin. And I don't know who it was who said it. I think it was Warren Buffett, but don't quote me on that. He said, people who diversify don't know what they're doing. You have to find a company, believe in that company, and invest 100% in that company if you want to be wealthy. Well, my goal, just like Kevin Cage, is generational wealth. I have 6 kids, 3 grandkids, probably more grandkids. And, you know, I'm concerned about the future of my kids and my grandkids because I don't know what's going to happen, you know, financially for them. So, you know, it's all about my kids. And plus, you know, we want to give. We're missionaries. We live in Central America, and we have our Nobe Booglies down there, and we actually support a young couple down there. We left, and then they came in, and we still want to do our missions work and, you know, help medical, cancer, whatever. My son had cancer, so I have an interest in cancer as well. But you know, we really believe in this XRP, and for it being, you know, it's the plumbing behind all of the finances in the world. You know, it's going to move all of the money. And I actually have had some Christian friends who says, "Oh, it's the mark of the beast," and I'm like, he said, "You're going to have to get a chip to use it." I'm like, I use XRP now, and I don't have a chip. I don't even have a tattoo, so I don't have a chip. I don't have a tattoo. You don't need. It's not the mark of the beast. But what are you going to do? You can't stop end times anyway. So we're going to live through it anyway. So it is what it is. But I just really, and the information I've gotten, you know, that from Brad Kimes. I mean, Brad Kimes, he always says, oh, this group, you know, he's referring to the Digital Asset Insiders Group, which, by the way, costs about $5 a month. And you are in a group with the elite who know about this cryptocurrency. They're so intelligent. Wen Mullet he knows it. Jonathan, he knows it Jonathan's actually from my town here in Florida. And Brad always brags about, oh, you guys are so smart. Brad likes the smartness, and I think that's great. But you know what? Brad Kimes, I'm here to tell you, you do not have to be intelligent to be in this. You only have to do one thing, and that is, Brad Kimes, you just have to pay attention. That's it. Just pay attention and be open-minded to learn. So we've learned a lot from Brad Kimes. Then they have this Digital Insiders. They are the cream of the crop. Inside that group, it's again, you know, my investment or our investment with XRP is the people. Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Chris Larson, all the work that they've done every single day. You know, there's something new. In 2017, you had to dig for information. Now, 2020, boom, an explosion of all this information. You can't keep up with it. It's hourly. It's every 5 minutes. It's something new. And on that Digital Insiders, the Telegram group, everybody's paying attention and they're posting. So it's made my life so much easier. I can just click on what they have. Then I can ask questions. And it's a non-threatening environment. I don't care if you don't know anything, or if you think your question is a stupid question. I love Brad Kimes is always saying, no question is a stupid question. I love that. He makes it non-threatening. And, you know, cryptocurrencies is new to everybody. And anybody can ask any question, and nobody is crashing on them. That's what I love about the Digital Insider Group. And I plan on staying with this group because I truly believe it's going to be the future wealth management group. Because once this XRP hits, once these cryptocurrencies get out there, it's not just going to be XRP. It will be the Bitcoin because it's been around, but it comes down to Bitcoin, in my opinion. We are going to have to deal with our wealth. And it's going to be people who you wouldn't even think would be rich. And so we're going to need the education. We're going to need each other. We're going to need the community support. And that's why I'm such an advocate for that Digital Asset Insiders Group, the Patreon group that they have. And that's through DAI, Brad Kimes, and Mr. B. And Mr. B, he's a real estate agent. He actually lives in Florida. And I always kind of chuckle at Mr. B because he reminds me of one of my college professors. He always asks these questions, and it's like, you got to think about it. I think some people are afraid to answer them sometimes, but I always answer. My answers are probably stupid, but whatever. Nobody ever makes fun of me. So, and I'm thankful for that. Continue, please don't make fun of me. But Mr. B, he's an interesting person. He really is. DAI, as you know, from Georgia. We love him. I love the family aspect. He spends a good dad. He spends a lot of time with his boys. Brad Kimes and his wife, Mrs. Backup, she is a dear. And I always remind Brad, behind every successful man is that wonderful wife in the background. So, and I remind my husband the same thing. So I just think we're in a good group of people, and I'm excited what this next decade is gonna bring.
Me too, as well. And so one of the things that I found very interesting, maybe it was about a year ago, Brad Garlinghouse said that we were in a marathon, that it wasn't a sprint. And at that time, Joanie, he said that he felt like, if I remember correctly, I think he said that we're about at the 3-mile mark. And would you say now, with the beer cold among us, would you say that has sped things up? And do you feel like that we're closer to that wonderful mass adoption that we're all looking for and waiting for?
Absolutely. I keep telling Steve, I'm not, okay. I don't want to get into politics of all this thing, this beer flu, but I do know a nurse, and this nurse has said, we've had conversations with the doctors, the other nurses, and we're like, what is going on here? It's no worse than the regular flu. And I keep telling my husband, I think they're trying to really roll out these cryptocurrencies. I think this is the perfect way, I mean, what do we have? Is it 30 million people who lost their jobs in the United States? Is it 30 million? How can the stock market be doing fine?
Yeah. So far.
Yeah. So I don't know. I listen, I'm just, a simple person living in Florida. I'm a retired school teacher with my husband, and we just follow the laws, go with it, study on our own, do our own investments, and give it to God. Just pray that our investments are good investments. I mean, we're like any of y'all.
Well, and Joanie, one of the things too that I don't know, 90 days ago, felt like that the one thing that kind of seemed like was the next timber that needed to fall to get us closer to our mass adoption dreams were the regulations. Have you been keeping up with the news, and where do you feel like that our politicians are now with the regulations in the U.S.? Do you feel like that they have been getting more active now, or do you think they're going to let China just go ahead and take over the world, and BRICS and Russia and Brazil? Do you think that America is just going to stand there and let cryptocurrency take over the world, and they're just standing there wondering what happened?
No, I think America is definitely going to get on board. That's the nice thing about XRPs. XRP is working from the start with all the governments. Didn't they say? I mean, I heard somebody. I'm just thinking it was Kevin Cage, but don't hold me to it. Did he say something about in June that regulations have to be in, or the countries would be grayed out? Like, by June something regulations need to be in? They're working that. And isn't Christine Lagarde basically said like Swift, got on board last, and like the European banks are like, come on, we're ready to go. And yeah, I mean, I think it's June. Did they say that all the countries are supposed to have, or the first part, like, and there's segments of it, of the regulations?
Joni, the news keeps coming so rapid fire. I mean, the Costas Augustin guy, I think is that guy's name, with BIS, the Bank of International Settlement, and then Christine Lagarde. And then, I mean, they just, so many of these regulations now, 32 bills in Congress. They keep coming so often, it's hard for me to be able to keep up.
Yeah. Well, Steve Mnuchin's saying, let me write it myself. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I love that.
and one of the biggest shockers for me is our wonderful Maxine Waters going from Madam Bitcom to now being the author of the bills that are being introduced into Congress. So right. I think we're getting closer and closer and closer.
Yes.
I'm just not exactly sure what more they're waiting on to go ahead and begin to flip the switch and make something happen, because we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper every single day. I mean, our unfunded liabilities in the United States has gone in the last 60 days from $127 trillion to $147 trillion in the last 60 days. Right. So I don't know if they understand that the hole that we are digging, they're digging it with a huge backhoe, and they've got that thing on hyperdrive right now. Yeah. I just don't know how much longer they feel like they need to wait. And I think that they have legitimately scared everybody enough to where they are so worried with the beer cold. They've got our focus diverted. Now go ahead and flip the switch. Let's go.
Right. Yeah. Well, what about Judy Shelton? Wasn't she supposed to be in a couple of weeks ago? What happened there?
Yeah. Well, they delayed the vote. So
because of the beer flu, or
because who knows why they did it, but I was extremely excited when I saw that they had her up for the vote. I think it was a week ago today. It was supposed to be, and then they delayed it. Right. But I never saw the when they were going to have her back on the docket to go ahead and vote yay or nay on her. But yeah, I think that's another thing that, she's pro gold and I believe pro crypto. So hopefully they'll go ahead and let her, get on with it and help move things forward a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we just wait. We're good at waiting. We have learned patience.
Yes, we have. And the one thing that I keep thinking of too is I can't remember, besides FUD, that at the end of the day, if you kind of investigate it a little bit, there's nothing to it. No. Like the escrow goes out every month. Well, the very first time I saw an article about that, it was like, oh, what does that mean? What is that all about? Well, then when I understand it, 90% of it goes back every month. Oh, okay, no big deal. But you really think about it, Joanie, when is the last time that we've ever seen any legitimate bad news about Ripple? And XRP. I can't remember every single article that I've seen to run across. Yeah. And I want to give a huge shout out for all of our YouTube influencers and all of our influencers on Twitter for providing me with daily information for me to get my XRP fix every day. But the news just continues to be overwhelmingly positive. And so that's one of the things that gives me so much confidence in what we're doing, because the news just keeps coming and it just seems to continue to be positive.
Well, and they've always been the good guys, haven't they? It's not a big secret. We're not trying to do things behind your back, secretly send money. Everything has been on the open with XRP from the very beginning. And again, as we've discussed, our investment is in the people. Our investment is in the leaders. And you know what? I pray every day for the XRP leaders and even the people, Brad Kimes, DAI, Mr. B, the Twitter people, that we find the right information, that we inform one another, correctly. So, and it's a constant, we just have to be patient, pray for one another, and help and work together as a team. This is the XRP community is a wonderful group of people, and I think we're special. That's what I think. I think we're special.
Yeah, I that's one of the reasons that I put together the XRP Army news website and have interviewed people, because I like getting to know the people, and I don't want this to come across as a slight against any of our influencers, because I watch 2 to 3 hours worth of XRP videos a day. I'm very fortunate. I own a digital marketing company, so I've got the flexibility in my schedule that if I want to take the time to educate myself every day, I've got that option. And I'm very grateful for the education that has been provided to me, again, by people like Working Money Channel, Jungle
Yes.
Inc., DAI,
Variable.
Cryptopolis, Mickey B. Fresh, Brad Kimes, DAI, Kevin Cage. I don't want to leave anybody out of the people that I watch videos from all the time. I'm so eternally grateful to these people for helping to educate me, because I believe that this investment is going to be what will provide me with the liquidity to live the golden years of my life.
Right.
But I did feel like that there was a space out there to hear from people in the Army, not just the news from the influencers every day.
Right.
And that's why I've been on a mission to be able to try and find people like you in our XRP community, so we can all begin to know each other. And I believe that when we moon, and when we're at $589 per XRP, then if we make solid connections with each other, that there are a lot of good deeds and good works that we can do together to help others with what we've been blessed with. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm trying to make connections with other people in the XRP Army, because I'll tell you what, have you ever noticed what extreme wealth has done to human beings?
Softens their heart. Many of them. I mean, look at Bill Gates.
Some of them, okay? But look what it's done to others. Like, did you take a look at Michael Jackson before he died? Did you take a look at Elvis?
He had no friends.
They didn't have a purpose. They didn't have something that they woke up to every day, and they had a purpose for being. And so when we get this sudden wealth, one of the things that's going to happen to a lot of people is going to be lottery winner syndrome. And they're 5 years later, they're going to blow it all. It's all going to be gone. Well, that's one of the reasons I believe this has not happened for me in my life until I'm 58, because I'm not going to be lottery winner syndrome guy.
Right.
But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to find, with the comfort of, yes, not being able to have money be the determining factor on every single thing that I decide to do every day. I'm looking forward to that freedom. Yes. But I also want to wake up every day and have a purpose. And what I'd like to do is dedicate the golden years of my life into helping others. Right. And leave a legacy that when I die, that my life meant something. Right. And so that's one of the reasons that I'd like to interview people in the XRP Army and make connections and find other people of like mind. And once this thing all goes and moons, then let's get together and decide what good we can do together.
And what you just said is, I feel like my husband and I, we have lived that life. We're missionaries. I talked to you about that before. So we became missionaries, full-time missionaries in 2009. And then I had to move back to Florida because my son had cancer. That's how we got established back in Florida again. But, when you have that giving heart of reaching out and helping people, I truly believe that God is going to, first of all, God loves all of us equally. But I truly believe that there are certain people here on this earth that God is going to want in charge of his money. And we want to continue our missions down in Panama, what we've done down there. We actually have a home church Panama channel on YouTube, and you can see all the little things that we've done. And now we support a young couple that's down there who's doing exactly what we did, but they do it better. They're younger. It's a young family. but we want to continue with that and then open up some of the other things, you know, like what you want to do with your cancer charity. And there's going to be many things, you know, but again, you know, we're going to have new friends, a new community, and new ideas. And I think that this XRP community is going to become a great community to be a part of, to where we can share our dreams and leave a legacy, as you have said.
Well, and again, I truly believe if we don't have, you know, we've all kind of gotten a little bit of a dose of what cabin fever can do to us.
Yeah.
But not having that human interaction and not having a purpose and something to get that wakes you up in the morning and gives you the drive to go and get after it all day long. Yeah. I think if we don't have a purpose like that fixed in our lives,
drugs and alcohol,
then we just fall apart. I mean,
it'll happen.
And again, look at Elvis. I mean, that fame and fortune, look what it did to that guy. Same thing with Michael Jackson. I mean,
yes,
so I want to make sure, and again, I believe that it is one of the reasons why this has not come into my life. And again, it's all speculation. It all could go poof. I don't think it's going to, but I do believe that it's one of the reasons, in my opinion, why this has happened to me in my life now, where I've got my feet firmly planted on the ground. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my head's up in the clouds, no doubt. I'm out there, Jerry, and loving every minute of it. But again, I'm just grateful that it seems like that this has happened for me in my life at this time, because I want to dedicate the rest of my life in the service of helping other people. And if I'm well capitalized to be able to do that, that just means I'm going to be able to do more good work. So I'm grateful.
And, you know, to add to that is as a mom and a grandmother, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, I remind my kids, when this generational wealth begins, remember where you came from, reach out to others, you know, keep your head, you know, stay grounded, and, you know, your purpose in life, as you said, is stay focused on the important things, you know. So I have to teach my 6 kids, and well, I think most of them are pretty much there, because over the years of just, you know, teaching that, being a good parent. But I think that you know, we have to teach our children and then their children, each generation, you know, to give to others and how to make money and how to keep your money. That's the main thing, how to keep your money.
Well, and maybe our educational system, and my mother was a career educator, and I appreciate what you did in your working life, teaching others. But maybe part of our educational system, they will adapt to being able to teach people about money and teach people how to save money and everything about money. Money 101.
Right.
Because,
that's so important.
It's vital, but it hasn't been part of the curriculum. I went, you know, through all of my schooling and graduated from Appalachian State University, but my entire, you know, educational experience, not a whole lot about money and what it is and how to manage it. So
yeah. Well, I learned when I was in 4th grade, when I picked strawberries for 10 cents a quart, all my friends were spending their money on Twinkies and soda, and I ran mine to the bank. 4th grade.
Well, congratulations.
That's number 4 of 8 kids.
Yes.
That's what happens.
All right. Well, Joanie, I know you and your husband are getting ready to go get something to eat. Yes. So we can wrap up. Is there anything in conclusion that you would like to share, any message? And one thing that I would ask, if this was an enjoyable experience, because there are other women in the XRP community that I'm trying to invite, and what message would you send to the women in the XRP Army community about having a friendly conversation with Scott?
Well, this is the deal. You know, you don't have to be, you know, smart like Brad Kimes. You know, you can just be a simple, normal person. Just be yourself. You know, that's who we are. We're just ourselves. and we're all in this together. We're all learning. You know, it's a journey, and don't be afraid. You know, be proud that you're a female and you're in this XRP. Just be proud of who you are.
And don't you feel like we need to hear from more of the women in our XRP Army?
Absolutely. Kelly Slade, Kiki, come on, get out there.
Yeah.
Mrs. H, you know who you are.
How about Mrs. Backup?
Oh,
Hey.
yeah, Mrs. Backup. Exactly.
Yeah.
But she hides behind Brad. We need to get her out more. I've seen her on video. We did a meetup in XRP and we couldn't get what we were trying to do. So we just actually did it with our phones and stuff. And she is a lovely, lovely lady. We love her. She's just, you know what? She's our first lady. That's what Mrs. Backup is, our first lady.
Hey, okay, here we go. Mrs. B, come on in.
That's right. Come on in, Mrs. B.
Yeah, Brad was the first interview that we ever did, and he's a great guy. Again,
So nice.
I can't give enough of a shout out to Brad. Top notch guy.
Yeah, he's approachable. He's down to earth. He doesn't act like he's over anybody. And let me tell you something. He is brilliant, but he surely doesn't act like it. And he's just funny. He laughs at his own jokes. He laughs before the joke even comes out. So you're like, oh, listen, he's going to say something funny. So anyway, yeah, we love him and Mrs. Brackup and the whole team, all of them. And you know, we forgot to mention one person, and I really like his videos. Digital Asset News. I like his videos because he's so organized. He tells you what you're going to talk about. He really does a great job. I like his videos as well. And
Digital Nomad Investor.
Yeah, him too.
That I've really enjoyed watching videos of.
Forgot them. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, one other thing that I would really love to be able to see, I would love to be able to see some of the people that kind of are in different camps. Sam today, and remember when you get off today at some point, you and your husband ought to take a look at Sam I Am's video from today, where he breaks down Tone Vay's taking shots at Ripple and clearly not understanding it.
Right.
But I would love to be able to see Tone Vay's and Sam I Am talking
at it, a debate. Yeah, that'd be cool. You need to set that up. Everyone will watch it.
I would love to. I tweeted it out this morning. Hey, Tone, would you be willing to get together with Sam I Am and you know, share notes with each other? I know that Bix Weir is another person that I've listened to. Sam Ham Eggs and Sam I Am.
Yeah, right. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like Bix Weir. But he won't talk about XRP. I would love for them to get together and talk about how come you don't, because I don't see that Bitcoin versus XRP versus Cardano is the problem.
Yeah.
Fiat is the problem. The central banks are the problem. The Federal Reserve are the
crooks.
It's not the other cryptos, and I wish that the crypto community would show a little bit more love with each other, because again, I think that the big enemy is the fiat, not other cryptos.
Right. Well, we're in this together. Let's see what happens over the next decade.
Yep, that sounds good. All right. Well, Joanie, I'd like again to thank you very, very much. I believe now that the XRP Army has a better understanding of who you are. And I appreciate your letting the other women in the XRP Army know that having a friendly conversation with Scott is a pleasurable experience. You won't die.
That's right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, you take care. Have a great rest of your little mid vacation in Florida, and you take care.
Okay, God bless.
God bless. Bye.
Bye.